Well, the Indiana Chamber of Commerce is asking the Indiana General Assembly to take steps in this budget writing session to reinforce Indiana's status as an economic leader to help businesses and workers emerge from the pandemic in a strong way. And joining me now, Indiana Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Kevin Brinegar with the business agenda for the Chamber this session. Kevin, as always, welcome to the program.
Happy New Year, Gary. It's good to visit with you and your viewers.
Yeah, budget writing session, very important year, obviously, but a very different year because of the pandemic, especially how things play out at the State House. Just a very different setup this year.
Yeah, different logistics. You have the House of Representatives is actually meeting in the State Office Building South. The Senate is staying in the Senate chambers, but they're putting 30 senators on the Senate floor and 20 more up in the gallery. Committee meetings are taking place where the legislators are in one room and the lobbyists and the advocates and the public are in a different room, and you've got two-way audio and video, lots of plexiglass, and everyone in the State House expected to wear masks.
Kevin, I know budget writing session. I know one of the key bills on the chamber agenda deals with the pandemic, and that's liability for Indiana businesses and organizations, liability related to the pandemic.
Yeah, we are pursuing liability protections for what we think would be frivolous pandemic-related lawsuits. We want to protect businesses, schools, universities, hospitals from lawsuits where, for example, someone comes into your business and then 2 weeks later they've contracted the virus and they want to say that I contracted it there and I'm going to sue you, when in fact no one really knows where the virus was contracted. Fortunately, the legislative leadership has made that a priority at our request. And in fact, Senate Bill 1 was heard midweek this week, and there was a tremendous amount of favorable testimony. They're going to hold that bill because we want to add some protections for product liability for makers of personal protective equipment as well.
Interesting. Another interesting item on your agenda, Kevin, I think, is you'd like to see incentives to help Indiana attract a mobile, remote workforce, if you will, again, coming out of the pandemic.
Yes. As we know, many workers across the state and across the country were sent home to work remotely when the pandemic hit. Our employer surveys tell us that fully 34% of Hoosier businesses expect to continue remote work even after the pandemic is over. And many places are not conducive. You know, if you're in a studio apartment in New York City, that may not be the place you want to spend 24/7. And Indiana is a lower cost, better quality of life state. And we think that we can attract both remote workers and ultimately other people with skills to come and live in Indiana, and we want to pursue some incentives to help facilitate that.
One more, we only have about 30 seconds, Kevin, but you would like to see another increase in the cigarette tax. So health, a big agenda item for the chamber.
Yeah, Indiana is now the fourth highest tobacco use state. Our tax rate is 38th lowest. We're lower than all of our surrounding states. There was a direct correlation there, and in order to reduce our smoking rates and reduce the impact of that on businesses and on social services, Medicaid, et cetera, we'd like to see the cigarette tax increase by $2 per pack. That's part of our Alliance for Healthier Indiana agenda. That would also have the added benefit of bringing in several $100 million to the state's revenue coffers, which could help the state balance its budget this year and offset the impact of the pandemic on state revenues.
All right, Kevin Brinegar, president of the Indiana Chamber, thanks for joining us. I know we'll be talking a lot more during this session. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, look forward to talking to you again and providing updates.